Hi, it's Liz from Lohas, Canada. It is September the 7th, I believe, 7th or 8th. And today is a holiday here in Canada. I'm on the west coast of Canada. So this is a podcast about knitting, about some sewing, and anything really crafty related. So before we get into the knitting and sewing items, I want to show you something that I bought because my shoulders, I hunch my back, I round it, I have big knots in my back, I don't really go to see the chiropractor or massage person. So my friend had one of these at her house a couple years ago and I got it off of Amazon. This one's called a body back and it has like all these pressure points so you can put it across and then get those big knots out, or use it on the lower back or on your neck. And it does have quite a bit of tutorials like you can find online of how to use it. So this one, I've been using it every day for about a week, or yeah, I think a week now, and it's just my first day was just so sore, and then my second and third day, so it's just really able to put those pressure points on your back, and it's really been great, especially for getting those knots out, because that's where I also carry my stress. So if you are into sewing and knitting or anything, even computer work, you're kind of more hunched, or even if you're not hunched and you carry your stress in different parts in your back, highly recommended this tool. So I have been working on this knitting project for a little bit now. My secret crop top is taking me a while because I am working with two colors and it was the first time. So I held, so this one is just a single cotton, they're both cotton. So single beige and black, and just alternated it. And then at the top here for my bust area, because I wanted it just a bit thicker, because here I was able to see through it, and then here I didn't want it, so I held in another black, so it did make it a lot more thicker. My only thing is, so this part was just single black, the ribbing, and that was fine, and I knew that would be perfect for me with some stretch, because it is cotton. And cotton usually sometimes goes out, it has more positive ease in it. And when I did the color alternating part, I did not realize that it would cinch in so much. And of course with ribbing it does stretch out quite a bit, so this does not go over my shoulders. So what I'm going to do is at the back, I'm going to find the middle, I'm going to sew probably either side, I'm going to figure out how to basically steek it, if I can steek cotton, and then knit another piece just for the back, because that was the main problem, and then sew it in together, so then I could have like a cool design that goes across the back. I was thinking maybe just even doing an X, like it could just be in all black, it doesn't have to be alternating, just so that it fits. This area does fit across to my bust, so kind of. So I'm gonna see how that goes, and then I've done one strap, and then I'll just have to do the next strap. I was trying to think if I wanted to crisscross them, just because on my last one I do have to make it an inch shorter than what I think it's going to be, because it does stretch out a bit because of the weight. That's why the crisscrossing, if you crisscross it, you don't have so much of that weight. It's more distributed on your back than just that one point from your shoulder. Experimenting now. So this one will be my third one that I've been doing with the same pattern of my little secret crop top by Jessica Mead. So that's still the 100% cotton. So I still have a bunch more 100% cotton. I do want to continue that for the rest of whatever, like September, until we get the colder months. Then I'll switch back over to some wool. So this coming week we're having a knitting night, which is just basically going into a big field. Everyone kind of brings their chairs and do some socially distancing knitting. We don't end up having a ton of people. It's a pretty small knit group. So I didn't want to bring that along, and it's going to be in a couple days. So I was trying to figure out what if I wanted to start a different project, which I don't, because I have so many other projects going on. So I decided what I would do is, this is that wool skirt. So it's held in with sock and, oh man, hemp. The blue is the hemp, and then I held it with a black sock weight. So I forget this, it's like my little black skirt or something by Skinder Deer. And I like the construction. The waist is awesome. This is the hips. So this is skirt. So the hips was awesome, and then it flared out. So I think if I chose a drapier fabric, like a drapier, if I was just doing maybe linen, like a really lightweight linen or really lightweight hemp, maybe it would have more drape to it. I don't really know if hemp really drapes very well. But to me, I don't wear things that really, especially skirts, I don't really wear the ones that flare out unless they're past my knee. So because I didn't have enough of it. It looks like a huge ball, but because when you're flaring it out, it just took so much more. So I did it last night. I took it apart and unraveled it, and then I'll just start knitting it again. So I measured from here to here, so this goes past my bum, and then from my bum it can go in. So as long as it goes past my booty, then I can start decreasing stitches, and then I'll just have to figure out how many stitches to decrease. So I have to figure out, because originally when you increase, there was stitch needles in here telling me when I need to increase to kind of flare it out. So I just need to find those points, and then I'll start to decrease it, slowly coming in to a point, depending if I run out of yarn or if it just tapers in too much. So it is wool. It does have wool for the sock wool, and then I think it's hemp and something. I can't remember, but it does have some weight to it. So it's more like a full skirt is what I wanted. I wasn't really looking for a summer skirt. So I would like to try this pattern again, though, with a different fabric next year, maybe a cotton or something I think maybe a cotton might be a bit too heavy even, but just because of the folds, that it like folds out, and maybe I'll have to make it more of a knee length, so maybe getting a larger quantity of yarn. So just pulling that down, so not increasing so drastically, and then maybe once it gets to my knee, then I can increase it. So, but that will be taking to knit night, just because it is straight knit, because it's in the round. So I went up to Fabricland in Victoria, so I'm in Parksville. It's about a 2-hour drive, and Fabricland there is big. Like, they do have other Fabriclands on the island. They're really small compared to the Victoria Fabricland, where they have everything in fabric that I haven't even seen there before, I heard of. So that was really awesome, because I've gone to Fabriclands before, and they got some like quilting cotton, and then the rest is like polyester stuff. So this one was way more diverse, and they did have some knitting needles, which I was surprised. They had a section in the middle with knitting needles and yarn. So I've been on the lookout trying to find an 80cm cord, and I don't have like interchangeable needles or anything, so I've been just trying to buy needles for certain projects and trying to keep the same projects with the same needle type thing, so I'm not buying multiple sets, and trying to really keep my needles down. But I've been on the lookout for an 80cm cord, so I found the Prim 4.5mm ergonomics needles. So I was very excited about that, because I was trying to find an 80cm ergonomic needle before, like the cord, 80cm, when I do like, you know, sweaters, or if I ever want to do a shawl. Even with these, I think this one's a 60 or 40cm for the skirt, and you know, it's pulling and bunching up, so that's not very ideal. So I picked those up. Alright, so let's talk about some sewing. So as you are probably making lots of masks as well, I have been doing that this week, last 2 weeks, just because even though I'm in the province of BC, a lot of the stores now are enforcing it, so then the stores get to have the security doing it rather than the RCMP, like the enforcement of it, where like say in Ontario, it's like the province is enforcing it, so then it's in all stores. So it's a bit different here. So I have been making more masks, and I do have a video about mask making. I'm still using the Olsen pattern, but I have now tweaked it a little bit more. So in that first video that I did, it was just showing more about like the mask making if you're more need more coverage. So if you need a nose piece, if you need something more protection, like all enclosed, like if you're going to like a medical facility or you have a larger face. But I was noticing that because if you have a smaller face or you don't need that extra protection, you just need that coverage, then I was tweaking the pattern. So this is the latest one that I have made. So what I did is the Olsen mask. You can find it online. It's a hospital recommended, what they're using in the hospital in the States. So you get this one piece, and the only difference is this part had come down here. And I noticed in the original one that there was quite a gap right here. So because it was so wide on my face, when it went up, it kind of pinched it together. So all I did was cut it from here upwards to where it sits nicely on my face. So just depending on how large your face is, my family has quite like a smaller face, so sometimes this is like almost like kid size, you know, just really depending on the size of your face. But I originally cropped it thinking that, oh, it'd be cuter to have it more rest on your chin, but if you do have to speak or anything, it does move it. So that was the only difference that I made on the mask. So I didn't put a nose bridge in these ones, and I did not put an extra filter into it. If you were going on a train, or if you were actually traveling, you could definitely put a filter into it, and then just keep one of the sides open or something and make a small adjustment. But I just sewed up either side, very quick and easy to make it. So I've been making those. I think I got 1 meter of fabric, but it was like 60 centimeters wide, or maybe, yeah, it was quite wide. I forget how wide it was, but I was able to get, I think, like 16 masks, so it's front and back as well. So that is what I've been doing, and creating more and sending them away to family members, and I just finished those up this week. So what I do at the end is I just burn it off with a lighter so that it just cinches it off, and then I do a sliding knot so that you have some adjustment, because some people, your ratio to their face in the mask, and it just gives it a little bit more option than just a regular elastic. So I use the paracord for that. And I do really just try to now choose neutral colors, because it's not like a big floral pattern, you can give it to everybody. The ties still do really work very well. Like in Ontario, they have to wear a mask at the gym, and it's way easier to tie it up, or if you have to wear the mask for quite some time. But a lot of the time they just really like the elastics. So the other project I have been working on, I haven't gotten too far, I kind of put it on the back burner a little bit, is the corset. So what I have done is I sewed it all up. So on the insides I sewed up, I hand felted it down, and then what I did is I sewed up and matched the two lines from either side, matched them up, and then sewed them together. So I did those by hand. So I did that for these two pieces. So it goes like that. And then what I did is found where the boning channels are. I don't have boning in it yet, but I found the boning channels and then put the boning channels, I sewed that in with the sewing machine. So here you can see I have just a zap strap in one of the channels. I did realize I bought the longest zap straps that I could find at the dollar store, and they're still not even long enough for this one, so I'm gonna have to figure out what I'm going to do. So my next step before I put the boning in, and then also the binding for the edging, is to do the back. So I'm going to have to put the eyelets in for all the lacing, and then figure out what I'm going to do, if I'm going to put a busk in the front or if I'm going to put a zipper like I did before I do the top part. So I'm just kind of doing some decisions and trying to have a really good thought process about it, but I have put this one on hold for a little bit. So I want to finish it up because I still have another one to make, and I also want to try, once I start perfecting the pattern and understanding it a lot more, getting my lines a bit straighter, doing it like an under bust one as well, because it's the exact same pattern, it's just different modifications to it. So, and learn how to do some flossing to it, like some hand embroidery would be really interesting. Alright, so for this next project, I was really trying and pushing to get it done this week, but I've been having such problems with my sewing machine and this fabric. So the serger plate broke a month ago, and so I went to my sewing shop and they didn't have the right parts, so they had to order it in. I got it in, had a look at it, and it's not the correct one. So I looked on Amazon and they actually have the correct plate. So I'm going to be waiting again for the correct plate to be able to use a serger, because I bought this swimsuit fabric, and I will talk to you about it more, and I'm doing a video on it so you can see all these mistakes. So I really wanted to try this one-piece swimsuit, and it has a lining in it, and it's just, my sewing machine is not loving it. It just gives me different tensions, and I'll use it on other fabric and it's fine. It's just not loving how it's being put together, so I'm having to go over lines like 3 or 4 times because it's just not, holding up. So maybe just because it's going through like 4 layers of this really stretchy material. Even though I'm using the correct needle, I bought some polyester thread. So I went up to the maker place in Victoria, and I was talking to her about swimsuit stuff, and she was just saying, you know, the outdoor thread is going to be a lot thicker, and so I actually used it on the machine, and it is a lot thicker, and it just wouldn't work for it. So I just bought some polyester thread. So she says that the owner, or the lady there working there, said she's used it on her swimsuit, the polyester thread, and for a couple of years, and she's had no problem with it. So that's what I've been using. I just bought like 2 colors because I do have some swimsuit fabric that is a dark color as well. So I got a light color and a dark color. But this is the one piece, and I'm so glad I basted it. I will talk more about it in just like a finished object swimming video once I get my serger plate, so it could be a while. Could maybe not even be this season, but I basted it, and I'm so glad, because I guess the swimsuit fabric, like the lining, does move quite a bit. I really like this, the lining, and this is from Blackbird Fabrics. And I have like a built-in bra type thing. I'm also a little bit concerned because I was kind of mocking trying this on, and I feel like it's a little bit too small. We will see though, just because I do not have a flat back. I have a little bit of a booty. Also, I'm kind of kicking myself because they were saying like, oh, don't use directional fabrics. I was like, it'll be alright, the directions aren't that huge, but what I should have done, and I don't even know why they didn't include this, this is such an easy fix, is literally, I didn't even have to, so I cut out these 2 pieces and then sew them together. So obviously they do not line up, but why do I have to like, why couldn't they just been 1 piece? They could have easily been 1 piece. Like, this one is 1 piece, the front is 1 piece, so why couldn't you have made the back 1 piece? You know, and that's just my mistake. Like, I should have just flipped it over and been like, oh, okay, well, we'll just line it up. Because, so I don't know why they just didn't make it like 1 piece. Like, all the bathing suits in that pattern have this. They're just like little, like different crisscrosses and stuff that make it the pattern. But so that was kind of like, oh, I should have done that, kicking myself for that, because they don't line up, and I think it's going to go across my bum area, so it's just going to make it like even more noticeable because it's not level. But that's okay. This is more like my practice fabric, because I wasn't super happy with this pink color as well. Like, I thought, because I bought it online, I thought it was going to be more of a not so hot pink, more of a dull red. But it was a good lesson, so I'm just putting this on hold. I did cut out the material also for a 2-piece as well, but I was just getting so frustrated with the fabric. It was just taking me 10 times as long. So I finally finished filling this scrap pillow. So I just sewed up the top edge, and I have talked about it in previous videos, but I would not make this size again, even though it's a great throw pillow, because I'm putting all my scraps in it, and it's the scraps are pretty tiny, so it used a lot of fabric, but it's freaking heavy. It's like 5 pounds. So I still need to make a cover for this because obviously I don't want 5 pounds in my washing machine when I wash it, so I definitely need to make a cover. I was thinking I could make a zipper at the top of the cover, like, or what I could do is one that has kind of overlaps, and then I can put snaps in. So I'm just gonna have a look at my zippers and see what I have and see if this is like a correct standard size. If it's not, then I'll do the overlap of one of the snaps. So it is very dense, very heavy, probably really great, you know, if you like the heavier pillows to rest up on, but it is very, very dense. So I wouldn't do that size again. So I decided to do 2 other sizes for scraps. So I did more of a long one. I thought it would be nice for more of a body pillow, and because obviously I need to put a cover on this one too. This one is not filled up, but once I do, I'll probably put snaps on it, so then I'll figure out how to overlap them and just add snaps to it. But it is definitely not filled up. It's got lots of space, and that will take me quite a while to fill that one up. And then I just wanted to be done with this fabric, and I just made a little small one. So just a little nice small little pillow, and then I'll put a bunch of scraps of that into it and then make another case. So I just need to figure out what material I'm going to make the outside of the pillowcases from. I was thinking maybe just canvas, but it's not like super comfy putting your body on canvas, so I might just have a look and see what other material I have, maybe some cotton or something, maybe some more scrap fabric, and then just do like 2 layers of it so that it's a little bit more sturdy than just like if you're just using cotton. So I also made these napkins. So my serger, you know, having problems, so I just did it on the sewing machine just with a zigzag, and then I did actually a top stitch of just straight as well. So these are the linen rayon little sample pieces. So I think I got 2 or 3 out of 1. So they're just really nice, cute napkins. They are all different colors, but in the same palette wagon. So I got 2 out of each one. So they're not the sturdiest, but they're not the softest either, so I thought that's why they'd be really great napkins. And I just really like the color as well, so that was a pretty easy, it was just nice to do really simple projects where you just have to sew in a straight line. You don't have to figure out what goes what together, and it's just kind of, I don't know, for some reason I love that when I'm just like, oh, and you just serge and you're just serging straight lines. So before we get on to the fabric haul, because I did get some more fabric, I just want to show you of a sewing magazine that I got, and this is called Threads. And usually I don't look through magazines that much. I do have some like sewing books and stuff, but this is a September 2020 issue, and it actually has some really great tips in here. But I was also looking at the advertisements in here because they do have some fabric stores that I've never even heard of before. So we really liked it because a lot of the time, you know, you get a magazine and then it's like, it's for a certain thing, like say sewing, and then you have like hair products in there. So they actually had some new sewing places, like new fabric stores, new different things. So I'm going to check those out online and then see if I buy any fabric from there. But right now I do not need more fabric because I will show you what I bought. So in the last podcast I bought a bunch of swimsuit fabric from Blackbird, and what I figured out when I was cutting out the 1 piece and the 2 piece, I did have some other darker material and some lighter material of the swimsuit fabric, but I didn't have enough of the lining. So I wanted to get some black lining. So I got this at Fabricland, and it does feel different than Blackbird's fabric. I feel like the Blackbird fabric swimsuit lining is a lot more draped to it and a lot more like lushness, where this is not as soft as Blackbird's. It's still like great for what it's going to be used, but it's definitely not as like silky as it. So I don't know how that plays a part of it. Like, I just don't have enough knowledge about swimsuits to know like if it's better quality or different types of qualities. So we will see once I finish that first swimsuit and then the second one, and then go swimming and see, you know, over time what was the difference between the two. So I do try to focus on eco-friendly products, but you know, there's things like the bathing suit and different things that we use. I want to get those foundations so that I can learn how to grow and build on it, and then, you know, try to incorporate other eco-friendly stuff to try to replace it. So I do need to have that foundation. That's why I'm learning all these different things. So with that, when I was out hiking, I realized, okay, you know, there are those snack bags that you can buy that have some vinyl in the inside and a nice cotton pattern and a nice zipper, but those are kind of heavy when you're going camping, and they're a lot heavier than, say, like, you know, the plastic bags. So what I was thinking is getting some vinyl or some nylon or something, and then making some snack bags just out of that. So it's just one layer. I was trying to brainstorm of how I can do a zipper, like what type of zippers. Could it be waterproof? Could it be a snap? Like, what can I use? And when I was at Fabricland, the waterproof zippers were $10 each. So I was thinking, oh my gosh, I don't think I can do zippers unless I could find a more inexpensive but same quality product. So I'm still brainstorming on it. I might be doing a snap or something, or figuring out how to do, maybe if you've ever used a dry fit bag. I'll show you a dry fit bag. So these dry fit bags, this is not what I made. I got this for my birthday a couple of years ago, or Christmas or something, and you put your items in the dry fit bag just in case when you go hiking or camping or wherever and it rains, it won't get it wet. So, and this is a quite large dry fit bag. It can fit my full hiking bag, like my big backpack. So, you know, they have some sort of plastic material at the top. It's hard and stiff, and then it's got the snaps, or the buckles, I should say. So basically all you do is you fill it up with stuff, all your clothes and whatever, fold it down, and then zip. Done. Buckled. Usually fold it down so that this part is out of the rain. So you fold it down, and then you put the buckles together. So then the top part is out of the rain. I have also seen it with like magnets, some really heavy duty magnets at the top, and then you fold those down. So there's lots of different methods, but say something for food, it might work as well, you know, on a smaller scale. There are smaller dry fit bags, but I'm just gonna have to do some research and brainstorm. So at the Fabricland, I did find some nice green material. So this is, I think it's Gore-Tex, and it's like, if I wanted to make a waterproof or water resistant, I guess water resistant, because waterproof is like no water. I don't really know the difference. So, but basically it'll just roll off. So I have to figure out how to sew this correctly, like what thread to use, and like what would make them resistant at the top of the closure. So, you know, maybe it's just a simple fold down, fold over a couple times or something. So I'm just going to do a bit of more research and figure that out before, but I was excited to try it, because I was like, where do I even get, you know, if I did want to make like a poncho or something, or like just a light raincoat, or even something on camping, you can make your own tarp type thing, right? So you could make something like this where it had loops or eyelets to go into it, so then you could string it up and it could go above your tent, and it would be so much cheaper probably, because hiking stuff is super expensive and camping stuff. So you could probably get this and then string it up. So it's just nice because now I have an understanding of like where I can get the material, what material I've tried and experimented with, and then I can kind of build up and go for that from there. Alright, and the last thing I got at Fabricland is this really nice cotton, and I think it was 5% spandex stretch, and I kind of screwed up because I thought it was a lot cheaper, and it was actually like how many meters were on a bolt, and I was like, oh, and they already cut it. So I just ended up getting it. It does have some stretch on it because I do want to start making more underwear. With that last material, It worked out okay, but it's not the best material that my skin really likes if I'm wearing underwear. So I wanted something that was, you know, it's still really nice looking. It's got the stretch to it and it's soft, and I kind of want to make it not as big underwear, because those underwear were pretty big, like almost up to my belly button big. So they definitely had different sizes, so I'll try more of a smaller size, and then a smaller cut as well. So I think I got 1 meter of this, so I can definitely need to replace some underwear because they are falling apart. I don't know about you, but it is kind of hard to find a high majority of cotton in your underwear now, so that's why I wanted to start to make more underwear. So the next place I went to is called the Maker House. So it's actually just down the road from Fabricland, maybe like a 5-minute drive, so really great. So I ended up getting these 2 underwear elastics. You can kind of see it has kind of a goldish sheen to it. I think it's more like a rose gold is what they were calling it. And then just a standard black elastic so you can fold it over. So that makes it so much easier, and she had such a great selection for like bra making or underwear making, and so much knowledge about swimwear, and had patterns and stuff. I'll be using Alien Mac's pattern because I already bought it and cut it out and made a pair. I think it's called the Frisky underwear or something, but they were quite big, and you know, those ones went almost up to my belly button because they're more of like a brief, so I'll be cutting out more of like a slimmer underwear, and that's why I got so much of that fabric. But really great to have underwear elastic, like specific to it, and just like have that nice finish, because it is all about like the raw edges and how you finish everything. The Maker House, on her website, she calls it light copper, and this is the 20 millimeter. They're both 20 millimeter elastic. So I ended up getting 5 meters of this and 3 meters of the other. So I'm just reading it from my phone because I can't remember what the content of these. And then I got this really nice purple. It is so soft. It's coming up a bit dark on there, but it is quite like it is a dark purple, but yeah. And this one is a Lysol. It's a Tencel organic cotton jersey. And I got 1 meter of this because I wanted to make another Alien Mac pattern with the ruche top, so making it like a tank top. So before I did the full length sleeves with the thumb hole and full back with a raunched. So I wanted to make next just a regular tank top with it, so that's why I was thinking this color would be awesome to make a tank top with it. And I also got same content, so organic jersey. I think these both have like 85% cotton, something like that, and then a certain amount of stretch, and that's what I've really been looking for. It's so hard to find such a good quality with like a high percentage of cotton and a little bit of stretch. So I ended up getting 2 meters of this because in my hastiness I was like, oh my gosh, that Alien Mac tulip dress would be awesome in this. And it's super nice and soft, and like love this green pattern. But then I kept on remembering, oh my gosh, I don't wear a lot of dresses. Like, do I really want to make it out of this? So I'm kind of torn because, you know, do I make the dress? It's a really tight fitting dress, and will I wear it quite a lot? So I was thinking, do I make a t-shirt out of it and then some underwear or something? So I'm still gonna hold off on this one, and I got lots of other projects, so that will keep me busy. So I hope you are all staying well. It is definitely a transition month, so lots of changes are going to be happening. The weather's going to change. We're kind of going back. It's already like getting dark out. I think the sun is setting at 8 o'clock at night now, or something around there. So it's definitely feeling like more time indoors, and I think I'll spend more time sewing and then this next year. But I'm also doing a whole bunch of different things, and I can't seem to finish quite a project, so I think that's really reflecting in what is going on here, but hopefully I can hone in and come back to it. I've also been doing a ton of writing. For some reason I just got into this like funk of writing every morning for a couple hours, so that's been really great for my soul. And getting back to the embroidery machine is something I definitely want to do. So we're coming, it's crazy to even say this, but we're coming up to Christmas, and I already see lots of people doing their Christmas shopping or Christmas like event shopping stuff. Like if they're going to do an advent calendar or something, now's the time to get it. It's just been so crazy. Like if you want to do a sock advent or a yarn advent calendar, they're all out basically like this month because for shipping, like because shipping has been just so delayed in this that, you know, it's been taking sometimes over like a month and a half for shipping. So people want to get the orders in and out the door. So it's crazy to think about that. So just I'm also shifting towards like, oh, maybe I should be making a bunch of like Christmas ideas stuff right now, so then maybe they'll get better by the time I reach Christmas. But it is definitely a transition. It's definitely a different shift again, and then we're heading into like a darker, colder season. But I don't know, I like that change. It's nice to have these beautiful sunny days where you can do stuff outside. You're in the garden, you're outside, you're canning and doing all this stuff, and then also having that shift to come indoors, do some space. You know, when it's like raining outside, I'm like, oh, it's not a big deal sewing, and you kind of give yourself that permission. Where if it's like beautiful and sunny, you kind of, I don't know, for me I struggle with it a little bit because it's like I should be outdoors doing stuff while it's nice out and then be indoors when it's getting kind of gloomy and gross outside. So I hope you're all doing well, and I will chat with you next time.